Hello, and welcome to the Q-SYS on-demand session for Microsoft Ignite, using AI to go beyond the boundaries of your meeting spaces. My name is Gary Evans, and I'm excited to show you the new developments in the Q-SYS video portfolio. What we're going to see today is we're going to go through Q-SYS Automatic Camera Preset Recall, also known as ACPR, and Seervision AI-based presenter tracking. Both of these technologies can be used to make more inclusive meetings out of your high-impact spaces. You might say, Gary, what is a high-impact space? Well, a high-impact space is outside of those ordinary conference rooms. You've got boardrooms, you've got divisible rooms, training rooms, flex spaces, and all-hands spaces. Most of these spaces are places where you might have a presenter up front and audience members inside. We'll take that all-hands space, for example, and we can use that technology from ACPR and Seervision to actually keep the focus on the active talker, whether it comes from a question in the audience or the presenter walking around on stage. Let's get to this demo here, and I'm going to introduce my colleagues, James, Megan, and Tony. They're in the collab in our corporate headquarters in Costa Mesa, California. James, take it away.
All right, thank you, Gary. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our demonstration. We're going to be showing you ACPR, Automatic Camera Preset Recall, and in fact, you just saw the first switch. So a little background before we get into it. We're using 4 of our NC series 12x80 PTZ cameras in this demonstration, and running all of this on a Core Nano, and using a Sennheiser TCC2 beamforming microphone. So ACPR is a free plugin available in Q-SYS Designer via Asset Manager. And the way it works, in this case, using a beamforming microphone, is we take horizontal and vertical coordinate data from the microphone. We create what I think of as a strike zone, and then we map a preset camera shot to that zone. So when your audio goes above a certain level for a certain amount of time, which you can variably define, it then tells the camera router, i.e. the video switcher inside of Q-SYS, to switch to that preset shot. It's actually really cool. It's very easy to set up and deploy and very flexible. One of the things that you may have noticed when Gary was giving the introduction is that you saw that wide, safety wide shot, right? So one of the features in ACPR is that if you have double talk or crosstalk in the room, or when there's far side audio, you can go to a specific camera in a specific shot, usually a medium wide or a wide, just for overall room context. But again, it's an optional feature. You don't have to use it. You can turn it on or off at will. So we'll go ahead and move into the demo now, and I'm going to start by throwing it to my colleague, Tony. Tony, tell us who you are and what you do for Q-SYS.
All right, thanks, James. Good morning, everybody. My name is Tony. I work here at headquarters in Costa Mesa, specifically in the collab alongside James. I handle installations, demonstrations, proof of concepts, SQA, anything that needs to be required of us down here. I'm going to hand it over to Megan. Megan, what do you do for Q-SYS?
I work on the marketing team on partner marketing. So I work on content and digital marketing to amplify our partnerships. So I will send it back over to James.
All right. Thanks, Megan. Thank you, Tony. So you can see audio presence in a zone then triggers the camera router to switch. And one of the things that we can do before Tony goes up to the front of the room, we'll do a little crosstalk in here so you can see that safety wide go live. So I'm going to keep talking, and then while I'm talking, Tony and Megan both will start arguing with me and or just making noise as though we were arguing or discussing something in a meeting. So I'm talking, and you guys go ahead and start interrupting me at will.
And I will continue to interrupt you because what you're talking about is nonsense. Nonsense.
There it goes out to the safety wide, and you can see that's the crosstalk detection, which again has a variable timer attached to it. So there's a lot of flexibility built into ACPR. So while I'm talking this time, Tony's going to make his way up to the front of this room. And same thing, he's going to take over. Audio presence is going to trigger that camera router switch. But the important difference is this time the camera that you're going to see is being controlled by Seervision. So fully skeletized, intelligent video-driven tracking. Tony, take it away.
All right, thanks, James. So as soon as the camera switches, you will notice that Seervision was tracking me as I was walking. As soon as somebody enters a tracking zone that you designed, Seervision will then follow that person as long as they are in that specific zone. In this instance, what you're looking at is our presenter view or active talker view. So you can imagine I'm a lecturer, I'm in front of a class or a lecture hall. This is the content I'm sharing with the class. This is what that situation might look like. Another thing with Seervision is you can create trigger zones. So on each of these monitors, we have designated trigger zones. So as soon as I step into this designated area, a camera action initiates within Seervision, and then you will see the camera do a zoom in and reframe. You can create emphasis on a particular piece of content, on a podium, anything like that. And once you notice, as soon as I leave that zone, Seervision will then do a fall out, and then it will go back to zooming in once I enter the other trigger zone on this side of the room. See, we'll let it do its thing and refocus. And again, once I leave this designated trigger zone, Seervision will go back to that wide presenter view. Megan, I know this is your first time in the demonstration room. What do you think about all this?
I think everything looks great from what I'm seeing in the room, but James, I'm wondering if you can show us what the back end looks like.
Sure thing. Yeah, thanks, Megan. Thank you, Tony. So I'm going to take this HDMI cable right here and plug it into my laptop, and it'll share in a second here. And there we go. So this is the surface layer, if you will, of the back end of Seervision. So the first thing that I like to point out here is that you'll notice that Tony is fully skeletonized. So, Seervision does not just hunt heads and shoulders or the combination of the two, like most things at market. It's actually gathering a lot more data than that, which makes it more insightful and more predictive. You'll notice, and you may have noticed already, that when Tony's moving around, just like a person would if he takes a drop step or he pauses, Seervision actually is predictive in its behavior. So it actually looks a lot more like a broadcast camera operator who is following the subject. And it's pretty elegant, as you can see. Another thing to note, you can see Tony has a number 19 in his bounding box. All right, thank you, Tony. So Seervision is actually intelligent enough to identify humans and or potential humans in frame, and it gives them all unique identifiers. What's great is that these are volatilely stored, so they are not persistent on the machine, right? And no cloud. This is all completely air-gapped, running locally. So at this point, I'm going to throw this back to Tony just so that you can see the actual far end camera in parallel to the computer vision of Seervision. Tony, take it away.
All right. Thanks, James. I appreciate that. So as James was speaking to, Seervision works off of skeletalization of the individual or individuals. So you can notice my bounding box and my skeleton are green. The Tony behind me is red. The Tony behind him is red. All these faces on the screen, they're also red. So Seervision is smart enough to know that I am the human within the designated tracking zone, and it's going to follow me and only me. Another good example of Seervision is, again, pretending I'm a lecturer. This is my whiteboard. I can turn around. I could write all across the screens. Seervision does not need my face or even me to be looking at the camera to know that it needs to track me and only me. So we appreciate you listening to this short demonstration. I'm actually going to hand it back to Gary on the other side. Gary?
Thank you, Tony, and thank you, Megan and James. It was a great demonstration. As you guys just saw, automatic camera preset recall with Seervision sets the focus on the active talker in your space, instead of giving you a big generalized view. That makes everything a lot more friendly for the far end when they're watching that. They feel more included. They can see what's going on. They can see people's reactions, and they can follow along really well. Automatic Camera Preset Recall is a free software plugin upgrade in Q-SYS systems, and Seervision can be added on for advanced presenter tracking features. Thank you for attending our demo today. If you want to find out more, you can check out the Microsoft Ignite Virtual Showcase page, or you can go to qsys.com. Thank you.